It cannot be rated. Oh, yes, I can. Hey, everybody. Here at Lazy Good Books. So, today we are going to be showing these books that I have read and once I have read and one I'm hearing. So let's just give this thing keep going. Let me just get. Sorry about the camera mishap. So, what we are going to be doing, starting out with Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn Gone Girl. This one I'm actually still hearing, and it's just a great novel. So it's about this girl named Amy Dunn. She disappeared, and her husband and friends and family cannot find her. They looked all over the place, but they're not done looking. And I'm sure they'll find her at some point. I really hope so, because this book is kind of like an ID investigation kind of book, like one of those disappearing shows on IDTV. It seems like a really awesome, great book. And I love hearing this book because it's just so interesting how, what was this? Amy's husband is trying to find her, but it's kind of difficult to figure it out. But loving this book at all times. If you guys don't have this book on your bookshelves, well, you should get it because it's that good. It's really that. It's really that good. This next one I'm actually finishing off with is by Kristen Hanna, and it's Angel Falls. See, I'm almost done with this novel, and this has been just a wonderful book. This book was honestly about a girl named Michaela. She hit her head on a barn post in a barn. She couldn't wake up. She was in a deep concussion. But she missed some Christmases, some years. When she finally woke up, she didn't know who she was. Only one person she knew was Julian True. This book, I'm not done reading the rest of it yet. But this one is one of my favorite books. But first, Kristen Hanna, so that was even fun. Really fun to read. And she only knows her daughter. She had been, her and Julian were married, and she's actually really married to Dr. Campbell. And so, really great book. Can't wait to finish it. going to be reading this book tomorrow. This next book, this is like one of my favorite love stories. Have you heard of this YouTube channel, The LaBranch Family? Oh my word, you're gonna love this book. This one is called Miss Sad I Was a Pretty Love Story. It was about this girl named Savannah. She had really with Tommy Smith, but actually she doesn't like talking about all that and all that. She grew up that sweet family, and she finally got more closer to the Lord. And as it grew, she met the love of her life, Cole LaBranch. It was, I find that part really cool and interesting because it was more like a real life story. Cole started playing with everybody. Everybody was so happy. It's so thrilled to play with some random stranger out of nowhere. And Ava also was a part of that. Ava Foley. Savannah, she says every time, and Michelle Foley were the best friends ever. And of course, there's another YouTuber, the Fish family, Madison Fisher. And yeah, but they didn't talk about Madison at all in this book. But her and Savannah did grow up together. Then Cole and Savannah started our first YouTube channel called Cole and Sal. And then after be the LaBranch family, they got married. Beautiful ceremony. It was just a great book. Love this read. And a great true love story. Because it really did happen. This next book, oh my word. It was kind of a mix. The book Overcomer by Chris Hervey. This book was outgoing. 5-star read. Oh my word. Just a great novel. I was honestly blown away when I read this book. When I had other books going in that just damn amazing books, and the amazing good books was gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? But this book was about this girl who came about of things. She was was a really great runner. She ran cross country, but then she stole some things. But I forget what her name was. And she also, and then in this book, she went to college, and she was a great advocate. Coach Harrison was his son, actually, introduced her to Vatican kids. But the grandmother was kind of edgy with the coach. And just started yelling at him out of nowhere. And this book was a 5-star read because this book was amazing. This is a good book recommendation for all the book YouTubers out there. So this book is honestly a really great book. I loved it, and I'll show you too. And it was just a great book. The next one is I actually heard this book, but at first I tried to read it, but it was hard to figure it out while I read it. But instead, I heard this book, and it was just amazing. It's by Stephen King. It's called The Mist. this family, the mist came. They don't know where the mist came from. It came from the water side with some kind of sea creature. I want to say it was some kind of crazy octopus going wrong, uh, going wrong kind of book. But I honestly think of this book was kind of on the scary side, because Stephen King does write about the scary novels. This book was absolutely amazing. This book I absolutely loved because it was just an interesting book. I loved the book so much that it was just a great read. The book with a sweet creature, killing people, eating people, blood all over the place. But the end of the book was pretty much like part of the army project, the Airhead project, and stuff like that. A group of people left the scene, and it all got bad. But this was a great story. A 5-star rated book because it was that good. This next book, oh my word, this book author is my favorite book author of all times. I'm sorry about his books too. And this first one is, because I have 3 new ones, because this author is my favorite book author of all times. Nicholas Sparks, Dreamland. This book was absolutely a great read. But it was a mixture of 2 different main creatures, Kobe, and I forget who the other one was. Let me take a peek here. Yeah, Kobe Mills. He was a cowboy, but he was a soldier for spring break, and he met this girl who is a big TikToker. She loved to do videos with her friends, but she also got a record deal at the end. It was a great book. I heard this book over Apple Books. This book was really good, but a little bit confusing. But at the end, it totally all made sense. Because that one house with the I totally forgot the twist to it was this other cricketer. She was running away with her son. Her husband was a bad guy. Five. It was mostly about this guy named Kobe and this girl named Morgan, and they fell in love. Fell in love, like kissing and stuff like that. They went on dates. One day they went to catch some clams, but she left to hang out with him. So we're gonna hang out with him, and they broke up because he wanted to go with her to Tennessee to get her songs out there and all that. And yeah, and Nicholas Sparks does a lot of great other books too, like The Rock to Remember, The Guardian, and 2 other ones I'm going to be showing in a minute. And this book was a great book. I highly recommend Dreamland because it was that good of a book. This next one is by the same author, Nicholas Sparks. Chris, like I said, he's my favorite book author of all times. This book was my very first book I ever read of him 7 years ago. And it's called The Lucky One. My favorite book ever. But I do want to read this book for the channel because it was just a great book. It was by this guy who was in the World War. He found a picture of this gal. And then I read this girl's brother. But I did find quite interesting when I read it. The movie was absolutely good. It started Zac Efron, my favorite actor of all times, who played the guy. Forget who. Oh yeah, Logan was his name. Logan. And he walked hard to a different state. He met this gal. Hard to know. Like deeply in love with this girl. And she had a son. The son's dad wasn't really a nice guy, but towards the middle of it, this book was absolutely a great book because it was honestly talking about how Logan and her son kind of bonded. And the lady's son actually had a piano recital the dad went to, and his dad's grandparents, of course, came, and it was such a beautiful recital. And I would say this book was a 5-star rating. I never rated this book yet, but I do want to reread it because it was that good. The ending was kind of like, where do we go from here, kind of thing. The last book is by Nicholas Sparks, and let me say he's my favorite book author of all times. Chris Sparks' The Witch. The Witch was about this girl named Maggie. Her friend's cousin got her pregnant, and she had to. Her mom and dad, Chris's sister, wanted her to move in with her Aunt Linda until after she had the baby. But she met this guy. What was his name? I forget what the name was. It was like Christmas in New York kind of thing. But she told this story about this guy that she met at Old Coke, and they fell in love kind of thing. And she did have her own YouTube channel, but her cancer. But in the end, they got the best of her, and she died to be with that boyfriend who actually passed away because he was in the military. Before, or that another part of that Christmas story she told her coworkers was how she fell in love with this guy. First became friends, then dated. He treated her so nicely, and it was just a great, wonderful book. So this book was honestly a really good book. If you want to read something more like, kind of like a great book, this book is the one you should read of all times, and it's just a wonderful book. We'll hear more on the book if this book is about. Well, I have a vlog on my channel that you can actually check out, and just hear what the book is about, because it was a great book. Click download to the red subscribe button, click on the navigation bell next to the red subscribe button. Let me grab my bell real quick because I forgot to grab that. Here we go. Click my navigation bell for more book review, more book words, reviews, shorts, reels, and all that fun stuff. But thank you to come to Macy Good Books because it was a good time to spend time with my subscribers. Like I always do because it was just a great book. Thank you to come to Macy Good Books. If you like this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Click the all in the navigation and all that fun stuff. Comment, share, like. I'm also on Goodreads, Likewise, Instagram, and Facebook. On Facebook. But I'm not putting that part back up yet because that I'm still figuring stuff out for. Then and getting everything caught up. If you guys like this live stream, give it a thumbs up and always remember the Lord loves you. And here are these good books. Our book family just welcome newcomers. Thank you guys for coming to Lazy Good Books, and always remember you are loved by the Lord, and you're loved by Lazy Good Books book family. Thanks, guys. Peace out. And that's what I know. You are loved by Lazy Good Books and trusted by the Lord. Thanks, guys, and peace. Give us a big thumbs up and peace out. Love my book family. You're the best.